Adtech moves fast. Yesterday's innovation is today's warm-up act. Welcome to Legends of Adtech, the podcast where we go beyond the buzzwords and straight to the people at the cold face of digital adtech. Every 2 weeks, we sit down with the industry's boldest thinkers, pioneers and disruptors to find out how they're rewriting the game. This is their story.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Legends of Adtech podcast for another conversation with one of Adtech's most savviest minds. I'm your host, Julia Linehan, founder and CEO of The Digital Voice. And today's guest is someone who knows how to connect better than anyone. And he is, of course, the man, the legend, the Jon Walsh. And for those of you who don't know Jon, well, shame on you, but you're going to find out more about him today. Jon is the founder of jobsinadtech.com, LinkedBands, and of course, the infamous Adtech chat community WhatsApp group. Jon brings over 24 years of experience in his career across entrepreneurship, angel investment, publishing, ad tech recruitment, and Jon's mission is simple: to connect the people who make ad tech tick. And let's bring him in. Jon, welcome to Legends of Adtech.
Hey, Jules. Nice to be here. Thank you.
Good to have you here. Well, I've kind of done your job for you in my usual challenge that I put to our guests. I want you in 60 seconds or less. Tell us about those 24 years career.
I love advertising. I grew up loving advertising, much to the chagrin of my parents who thought it was awful and evil. They may be right. And I managed to get into advertising quite early on. I was in the publishing world. And then the whole internet thing happened. I was like, oh, this is exciting, because I started to find print boring. And then from there, it's sort of 24 years on. I built multiple companies, mostly kind of ad networks. Lucky enough to have a couple of exits. And now I'm about working for the industry rather than working in the industry. So I have a really interesting perspective on the comings and goings of the whole space. I've got a neutrality over it all, as I don't have any skin in any particular game within it. And I've got a really enjoyable position, and I'm very happy doing what I'm doing, supporting the industry with talking, connecting, getting jobs, and generally trying to bring some levity to the industry as well.
And an awful lot of fun, but we'll come on to that within the WhatsApp group. Obviously, my career has been in digital advertising for 30 years, so I know the answer to part of this question. But for you and for our audience who maybe haven't been around in ad tech, tell them what the early days of ad tech were like, and is there anything you miss about that era that we can say on here?
I miss so much about that era. There's a great line from the American Office of, isn't it a shame that you don't know you're in the good old days when it's the good old days? And there's lots I miss. I miss, programmatics changed the game, and not all for the positive. So I miss in fact, back then there were more meetings, there were more conversations, there was more in person. We didn't have Zoom. There were fewer people in the industry because it was it was when it was $100 billion industry, maybe even smaller than that. And you had digital departments at agencies, so it was, rather than the whole agency basically now being effectively digital. So I missed that connection. I missed the ease of doing deals that you could do back then. Things seem more complex now. The tech has kind of got in the way. It was simpler times, and I kind of yearn somewhat for those simpler times.
And I am so surprised that you didn't mention, number one, the Revolution Awards,
Yeah,
because they're infamous. Number two, boob nights, buy your own beers.
yeah.
And we could go on, but those are the things that you and I can know. And when I say those two things, a lot of people listening will go, yeah, I was there.
I feel like I was a child, a literal child in those times. There's photos of me at like the Revolution Awards or the NMA Awards. And honestly, I look about 15, wearing my dad's tux.
Well, certainly you've aged well, so you still look very youthful. So listen, Jon, we couldn't have you on here without talking about, obviously, the AdTech chat group. And it started out a little bit of the legacy of the digital industry lads and ladies group. But I'm curious to know, when did you sort of realize that it was growing and growing into this much bigger thing?
So there was a few signs actually quite early on. one of which was when people were asking me, John, can you create a group for this? Can you create a group for that? And I think the first couple of times I said, no, you can do it. There's nothing stopping you doing it, which was, yeah, it's my whole thing. Take personal responsibility and do what you want to do. And if you need something, create it, right? And then I realized on the third time of asking, is that, oh, I see what's happening here. I'm being pushed into this position. Great, I'll pick it up and run with it. And that was one of the key things. I think the other thing was when I saw that people wanted to market in the group, that me selling ads in the group did not come from me wanting to make money from it. It came from, if I put a price bar in there, it will stop people doing it. And if they really want to do it, they've got to spend money to do it, because I want to keep the groups clean. And then I had just more and more people asking about different marketing opportunities, and I realized I really have something, and it still continues, it still grows. I've now got 3 groups that are maxed out at 1,025 people. I have an amazing group that's just taken on a life of its own that not many people know about, which is it's for the Middle East. And it's mostly Dubai, right? And a lot of it is expats from the UK or Australia that have moved there, and they suddenly need community. And these guys are amazing. They meet up for drinks. They help each other with, I need to find a new school for my kids, accommodation. It's, I would say it's the tightest community I have. And seeing them come together in this way just warms the cockles of my heart.
It's really interesting you say that, because I think a lot of people are quite surprised as to how there's so much support, good humor, community spirit, and yet we're most of everybody in there. You're at least got 5 other competitors within that group. What do you think? How do you think it's achieved that, and how do you think people traverse going, my competitors in there, so I'm not going to lean in, I'm not going to say so. No one holds back. No one holds it back from helping.
I think fundamentally, the whole kind of ethos of the groups, when I very first started it, and you can still read it in, I've got it posted in some of the groups, is you're not your job, you're not the company that pays you, bring who you are, right?
Yeah.
So it's this human aspect. Most people in their, they're employees of companies, some small companies, some big companies. But, 6 months down the line, 12 months down the line, you may change companies. So it's about who you really are rather than what you're wearing on a lanyard.
And that's interesting. I think people then do take that literally, and everyone brings who they are and says what they think. There's some groups, politics, that is out of control. Are there any? How do you manage any levers and control within this, or should it be lawless?
I believe that a society can basically build functioning rules and an understanding of how to be within that society, and this is no different. I created the politics group as the place where, if you want to rant about Trump or Brexit or woke or Gaza or Israel or any of these kind of things, right, which I have a fairly neutral view on it all in the main, as long as you're not being threatening or you're not crossing the line, it's like it goes in the politics group. And it's there that is the waste bin for that conversation.
There's an understanding of this. What is it? Skull and crossbones on it. Go in at your own peril. And I wouldn't go in there. Just I do. All of us want to go in there, but equally we don't want to go in there. And I think there should be a place, and it's done with a little bit. You've added that. You got to understand what you're going in for, and be made of sterner stuff, and don't take anything too literally.
And everyone's got an opinion, right? Everyone's got an opinion.
Opinions are like arseholes, John. Everyone's got one.
Yeah, I was about to use that.
Oh, I got in there first.
But I agree with you. And it's okay that people have opinions. It's okay that people feel really strongly about whatever. I mean, that's their choice. Just don't do it in like other community groups. That's why the politics group is there. It's like off to the politics group with you. But then I have the converse, which is the Dogs of Adtech group, where you couldn't find a bunch of warmer, lovelier, sweeter people who are just, it's worth visiting, even if you don't own a dog, like just hang out in there for a few weeks and you'll see what I'm talking about.
I know our producer Ren. Producer Ren has a beautiful dog, and also we have a lot of dogs within the digital voice team. So they're just lovely. If you love a dog and a dog loves you back, it seems to make you a better person. So I see it
I
firsthand.
agree with you. I agree with you.
Another point thing that you did that was when you set up jobs in adtech.com was, in a way, again, to fix a broken problem. And I wonder if that is a question I have around that. If it's what is the biggest problem that you strove to fix? What's the problem that people are still doing in ad tech about hiring that they're getting wrong?
I think there's plenty of issues. I think that the one that first comes to mind is not taking responsibility for hiring in-house and using third-party recruiters. It's the same as, agencies subcontracting to other agencies. It's like, you should know this better, you can do this better, you can do this better internally. And for me, there's almost a laziness to it. I also think that because of it, it's a little bit like with estate agents, that estate agents can have a bad rep for multiple reasons, and it's not the fault of the homeowner. And I think that there can sometimes be, if I have a bad experience with a recruitment consultant, and I have had bad experiences with recruitment consultants at the start of my career, that I can kind of blame it on that company, and now I have a negative brand view of that company. I mean, don't get me wrong, the converse is also true if I have a positive experience, but the only truly positive experience is for the person that gets the job. So you've got a bunch of other people who all have negative experiences. So that has to be weighed up. And so I think companies allowing themselves to see the full gamut of available candidates and not relying on an editorialized few that are pushed through from a recruiter.
And also, I think as well, would I be fair in saying that it's given not just a place for people looking for jobs to go to, but equally it's a much more cost-effective way for companies to recruit, and without selling yours and Toby's business, that's better. That helps a lot of the ad tech companies.
Absolutely. My kind of tagline for jobs in ad tech is it's recruiter quality candidates at jobs board prices. There is an obvious need for this. Recruiters are really expensive, and like I say, not always a positive experience for the companies and for the candidates. And LinkedIn Jobs, it's an awful experience for companies using it. They can have 200 people applying for a role, 190 of which are completely irrelevant, but they still have to go through them one by one. So it doesn't save any time. In theory, LinkedIn Jobs should be the greatest thing for recruiting on earth, and it's not. And it's just to do with their business model and how they do things.
Just as an aside, my daughter was applying. She's just started uni and she's applying for spring week. And I'm just so amazed. This is for like the banks and the consulting firms, which is a little bit out of our wheelhouse, if I'm honest, John. And it's like the higher view interview that these poor sods have to record, get a question, 30 seconds to answer it, record the answer. And the other one that came through them for another one was a pigmetric test. Did I say that right? Pigmetric.
I don't know what you're referring to. I know biometric.
It's you play games. It's again using it. So when you do the recording on high view, obviously it means that AI is looking at it to see whether your tonality, they're looking for certain traits in your tone, ums and ahs, what you're saying, etc. It's all done using AI to look at it before it hands over those that get past AI. And the pigmetric one, and I'm sure I've butchered that you get you click on the link and you have to play 12 games, and then it's again, and there's no right or wrong, but the AI is analyzing you. I mean, I don't think we should do that for our industry, but I'm really intrigued by this.
I find it really, really interesting, and I think that if you are going to work at a bank or a consultancy, they're looking for high IQ people, right? They're looking for smart people.
So are you saying that that's not ad tech?
Yeah, I'm saying that's not ad tech.
I'm agreeing with you.
If we were really smart, we'd be working in banking consulting.
But we're having so much more fun.
Yeah, I agree.
So here's another question for you. For those that are listening and not watching, John is fully branded with jobsandadtech.com, but on his wrist is another bit of branding, which is the brilliant LinkedBands that yourself and it's Chris Broad launched. And it's about making connections in LinkedIn in real life, hassle free. So I've got to ask, when did the idea come to you? Why did the idea come to you?
I have to say that once again, you inspired me for this. Are you aware of this?
No.
This is the first time you're hearing it.
Do I get a cut?
No.
You fucker.
So what happened was we had the can chat in June, and at one point you mentioned that your whole team had put your QR codes for LinkedIn on your lock screen.
QR code on our phones.
And I happened to be in my garden at the time. I've got a communal garden. I live in a block of flats. And I was talking to my neighbour, Chris, who has for many years been working in the kind of NFC field, and he does stuff around that, mostly for retailers. And I said, can we get an NFC chip in a wristband? And he's like, yeah. I said, can we get it to open LinkedIn? He's like, yeah, I don't see why not. So I said, well, let's do it. And I think from that idea to having them in my hand was about 3 weeks.
I would expect nothing less from you.
Yeah, it was just seeing that there is an obvious issue with getting, like, connecting on LinkedIn super easy, super smooth. And you'd obviously created a solution that worked for you because there was nothing, like, you created the best solution you could given what you had. And I just thought, I can step this up one level. And for the price of it and for the ease of it, I was like, and the fact it's expensible, you know, it's a legitimate work expense, yet it's for the individual. It isn't branded with any particular company. So if I'm at Adform one day and the Trade Desk the next and Magnite the day after that, I can still keep my linked band because it goes to my LinkedIn, not my corporate site, right? And I think that we are going through this strange almost bifurcation of the people that work in the company aren't the same as the company, and that the people that work at the companies can be the real industry leaders and real industry heroes that actually do something. So, you know, and companies they would rather have that than nothing, so they're supporting it, and that's what I'm saying. And yeah, linkedbands.com, if anyone wants that, go and have a look at them, and we deliver them.
I have one. Obviously, I was one of the first to buy it. A big supporter of anything you do, always. And it's what I would say, you know, and on that is absolutely you've hit the money on the head. Do not underestimate the power of your we call them ambassador squad, and we always encourage our client partners to choose those that are really proactive on LinkedIn. They're your biggest voices. We know that the individuals' LinkedIn posts about the company do better than a company talking about the same thing. So definitely embrace it. And I think LinkedIn, love it or hate it, lean in and make the most of it. But there are some, do you think, and you could answer this with LinkedIn, but is there anything in ad tech or in our industry that needs a serious rethink in 2026? And the reason I linked those two was part of me wants LinkedIn algorithm to have a serious rethink, but that's just me.
I think from an industry perspective, I think the biggest thing, and I was actually giving this a lot of thought, is the focus on perfection with attribution. I think that we need to take a step back, and often we can't see the wood for the trees. I think the reality is that we forget that we're consumers as well as workers in the industry. And, you know, I don't attribute any single ads for why I go and purchase a product, or why I go and get a test drive, or why I go on holiday to somewhere in particular. And if I can't do that for myself, and it's me making that action, how are we supposed to imagine that we understand why, you know, what the touch points were, or the touch point, or last touch point, or first touch point that made the sale happen? So attribution for me, I think we actually need to, and this runs counter to a lot of people in the industry, but I think we need to defocus it. And I think we just need to use common sense and understand that we need to build brands. And then from building brands, it's about encouraging actions to take place. But there is no silver bullet in advertising.
It's really interesting because at a time when everyone else is focusing on attribution and performance, and it's got every single thing has to count, and you've got to be able to track it, and the pressure on ads tech especially to show it performs, yours is quite the opposite. Yeah, quite the counter to that.
Well, look, you know, I own companies that I want to promote, and I want, you know, obviously don't have multi-million-dollar budgets, but I think about what is it I'm doing, and everything I do with jobs in ad tech, for example, it's all brand, all brand. My goal with the site is to make it the go-to place that if you're looking for a job in the industry, that's where you go. You know that if you're hiring for somewhere for positions in the industry, that's where you go. That's the site you use. And so all I do is branding. There is no direct response. Like, it doesn't work in that way. Then I trust there's something called the Lindy effect, which is the longest a technology has been in use and is present, the longer it's likely to be. So for me, it's about longevity with the site and just keeping powering through and keeping working both for candidates and for clients.
So it's interesting because one of I thought that you might answer the one thing that needs a serious rethink is the overuse or misuse of AI. I thought we might have gone down that route. And I definitely know I touched on AI on that higher view in the big metric, which everyone's going to brutalize me for that. We see AI creeping into recruitment. We see AI creeping into LinkedIn. We see AI creeping into everything we do. Is it a precious resource? Is it a problem?
It's neither. It's a technology, and the issue comes around with either human distrust of it, so not looking at it and dealing with it,
Yeah.
or over reliance on it and over trust in it. So it's about kind of like exploring, being curious, and I think that being curious piece is really important because you need to understand this stuff and not just trust.
So be curious and feel free to discount what does not serve you well. I totally agree. I don't mind it in certain things, but I have discounted it left, right, and center on things that like I can't stand it in content writing.
I've been thinking about this a lot. I think that AI is where the internet was in 1999, right? We're still really early. And notice I said 99, not 97 or 94, right? So it's launched with better UX and UIs than the internet did, and it's proving some worth and some value. But we're still so early. We don't know where this is. We don't really know where this is going. We can kind of see the direction of travel, but I think that AI is absolutely fascinating. And for me, Web3 is about AI and obviously not about blockchain and bullshit like that.
So do you think though, because one of the things you're saying, we've are looking at, I'm making notes on the takeaways for the end, but that ability, use a bit of common sense, be human, and we started the conversation about you being a connector, and I'm curious as to whether you think, whether it's AI or technology or just us as an industry, do you think that connecting and human connection is that going to look different in 5 years? If you're saying AI is its infancy, dear Lord, are we going to even that human connection, are we going to see that be different in 5 years? Big question.
Yeah, I think it's a great question, actually. Well, my fear is actually more about the kind of the Facebook glasses. I forget what the proper brand term is for
I'm
them.
surprised you didn't buy those.
No. Like it disappoints me and
The
upsets
Google
me.
glasses, wasn't it? Wasn't it Google?
The idea of us all walking around wearing these glasses, looking past each other because we're looking at our notifications, I think is a dystopian future. That's a concern for me. I think we need. I actually think that we may see somewhat of a backlash, a real backlash against technology in the next 5, 10, 15 years. The same way that we saw a resurgence in vinyl over the sort of like last 10, 15 years. And people kind of want that original music on vinyl rather than just having it digitally. I think that we may see, and I actually think that there will be a rise in people going on like yoga retreats or nature retreats. In fact, that's one of the businesses that I think that people should start considering looking at as.
Oh God, I'm the last. When a friend of mine now runs a Pilates studio, and I'm like, no, not a chance. I'm just not what that built the way. And yoga. So I tried I tried a sound bath once. You have to lie still for a start and not speak. Well, that never, and it was. I just kept getting the giggles, and and it's just not for me. But I get the premise of it. I listen to car maps, so I'm all right with that, and I listen to audibles and stuff. But yeah, I'm shit at yoga. I can't see you doing yoga either, but I can see you orchestrating it.
Well, God, I just think that a reconnection to humanity and nature will be the backlash against technology, and we're not there yet. but I think give it 10, 15 years and really think we will be.
Brilliant. Well, is that the next venture?
No, well, you never
You
know.
heard it first here. Or is there anything else?
No, I've got a lot on at the moment. I think the only other new thing for me would be sort of going more into the event space, not big events, small events, and focusing on niches. So I've done that with, I worked with Steve Beckwith and Dana Moon on creating Publisher Perspectives, which is just for publishers. I'm working with the incredible Sean Halpin, who I'm sure you know. We're putting together a one-day seminar or event for talent acquisition teams. So, and I've got a few other ideas kind of bubbling away like that. But I think for me, I also need calm and peace in my life. I don't like being busy all the time. I've got a home to look after, I've got a partner, I've got kids. And as I've got older and as I've acquired these people in my life, you know, they're more important than just doing business.
100% balance. You know my view, life work balance in that order. But with that, we're coming to the end. You know what's coming. It's the quick fire round. Jon Walsh, are you ready?
Go for it.
Answer the first thing that comes into your brain. Dear Lord. Here we go. Describe the ad tech community in one sentence.
Mostly lovely people.
Thought you were going to go a different direction. Best piece of networking advice you've ever been given.
Be interested in people. Like genuinely interested, not what they can do for you, but who they are.
Love that. People don't ask enough questions.
You know, and follow up. It's like, oh, well, you know, like I'm just genuinely interested in people.
What's overhyped in ad tech right now?
AI.
100%. What's underhyped?
AI.
Oh,
And so I think the overhype is about it's all about timelines. Like AI is going to be incredible for the industry, but I think that there's a lot to iron out, and a lot of people are acting as though it's already here and it's not. So I think that I think the hype is too much today, but also I think it's underhyped from perspective of not truly understanding the possibilities of what it can do.
brilliant. Love that. Okay, last three. Funniest recent moment in the ad tech chat.
There's no individual moment, but what I love is the event chats. So like the can chat, like just brilliant. Loads of funny moments, and it's the same. Like we just had Ad Week in New York, and the group for that's been great and funny and humorous, and people sending photos of being slightly drunk at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's that kind of stuff. So,
I'll give one as well. Ryder Cup that week was
was that
brilliant.
the golf chat? Was that in the golf chat?
Yeah, the golf chat. I mean, that one, I was wetting myself. When any group that Neil Eatson's in, it's always good for a laugh. Biggest LinkedIn pet peeve?
The algorithm not showing up job posts, like organic job posts, or prioritizing organic job posts where it should do for both the hiring company and for the job seekers out there that are desperately looking.
I 100% agree. My one actually very quickly is the one where they're now showing posts that have gone through, they're 3 weeks old, and they're just keep it relevant, keep it new, unless people are suddenly, it's not even ones that suddenly got popular. I don't know why they're doing that. Final question. I gave you a preview of this. Who would you like to see on Legends of Adtech?
It's someone who I don't know actually, or I've never met, and it's Carl White. Like I know him from ValueClick, right, and 24/7 Real Media.
I was going to say I know that name. He is a legend.
He is a legend, and I'd love to hear from him. Like I can't remember having ever heard him speak, but he has such a wealth of knowledge.
I think he's done loads of stuff as well. I've been around the block, and that's what we like to see. Well, noted, and thank you very much. There's so much that I've written down as like takeaways. I think the main one is I'm always a big fan of that. Be curious. Don't be over reliant on tech. Encourage your community, engage with community. There's always ways to connect. And for anybody out there, please remember you get so much more. The more you lean in, the more you get out of it. The interesting concept of focus on perfection, not attribution. That was quite an interesting concept. Remember, you are a person. Focus on who you are and how you can build that, and fight laziness in recruitment. Here to that. So, Jon, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Mwah.
Thank you so much, Jon, for joining us. And that's a wrap on this episode of Legends of Adtech. If you'd like to connect with Jon, check out the links in the description. And if you're wondering what just happened or what's happening in Adtech, head over to our brand new website, adtechjuice.com, and it will help you decode our industry. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to rate, review, share the episode, and of course, be sure to follow to never miss a single legend. Until next time, I'm Julia Linehan. Keep it juicy.
You've been listening to Legends of Adtech, a podcast by Adtech Juice. New episodes drop every 2 weeks, bringing you closer to the pioneers, disruptors, and game changers shaping the future of digital advertising. Stay connected at adtechjuice.com and be sure to follow us on LinkedIn for even more industry know-how.